The story of Boss begins in 1924 in a small town called Metzingen, Germany. A man named Hugo Ferdinand Boss opened a clothing workshop with about 20 to 30 employees. At the time, his main goal was simple: to produce quality workwear, raincoats, and uniforms. No one could have predicted that this modest operation would eventually become one of the most recognizable fashion brands in the world. In the beginning, the company struggled. The economic situation in Germany after World War I was unstable, inflation was high, and businesses were constantly under pressure. In fact, just a few years after it started, Hugo Boss's company filed for bankruptcy in 1931. But Hugo managed to negotiate a settlement and kept his business alive, although on a smaller scale. Then came the 1930s, and with them, the rise of the Nazi Party. This is where the story of BOSS becomes controversial. Hugo Boss, the man, became a member of the Nazi Party in 1931. His company received contracts to manufacture uniforms for the SS, the SA, and the Hitler Youth. These contracts helped the business grow rapidly, but it came at a moral cost. During World War II, the company used forced labor, including prisoners of war and workers from occupied countries, under harsh and inhumane conditions. After the war, Hugo Boss was labeled as an activist and a supporter of the Nazi regime. He was fined and lost his right to vote, but he was allowed to continue operating his business. He died in 1948, and the company was taken over by his son-in-law, Eugen Holy. This marked the beginning of a new chapter. In the post-war years, the company had to reinvent itself. The production of military uniforms was no longer an option. So, the focus shifted to men's suits. During the 1950s and 1960s, Hugo Boss built a strong reputation for making high-quality suits for German businessmen. The Boss label slowly started to become a symbol of success and professionalism. But the real turning point came in the 1980s. That's when the brand truly transformed into a global fashion powerhouse. Hugo Boss began investing heavily in marketing, sponsoring sports events, especially Formula One and golf, and signing licensing deals to expand into fragrances, accessories, and eventually women's fashion. The signature Boss look became known for sharp, tailored suits, clean lines, and a sense of confidence and authority. The brand positioned itself as the uniform for ambitious, powerful, modern men. Over the years, celebrities, athletes, and actors helped cement this image, from Brad Pitt and Ryan Reynolds to Formula One champions and football stars. Today, Boss is a multi-billion-dollar global brand with stores in over 120 countries. The company has evolved, rebranded, and taken steps to acknowledge and distance itself from its dark past. In 1999, it even formally apologized for the use of forced labor during the war and contributed to a compensation fund for victims. Despite its controversial beginnings, Boss is now recognized as one of the world's top fashion labels, known not just for its clothing, but for its influence on culture, style, and modern masculinity. So next time you see a Boss store or wear a Boss suit, remember, it's more than just fashion. It's a complex story of survival, transformation, and reinvention.